U.S. stocks ended sharply lower on Wednesday, with the Dow dropping 1.7%, the S&P 500 losing 2.25%, and the Nasdaq nosediving 3%. Speaking at the Economic Club of Chicago, Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell said larger-than-expected tariffs from President Trump likely mean higher inflation and slower growth. Powell added that the central bank is waiting for greater clarity before considering policy changes. Stocks added to early declines after Powell's comments. Michael Landsberg is Chief Investment Officer at Landsberg Bennett Private Wealth Management.
I think the market hoped that he would be clairvoyant and tell us where everything's going to go. I think there was talk there that the tariffs were going to affect earnings later on, and he didn't necessarily say how much it was going to be, but obviously the idea that it was larger than expected in terms of the tariffs, I think scared some of the market participants to say, hey, maybe earnings may decelerate more than we're expecting.
Among individual stocks, chip makers plummeted due to U.S. trade restrictions with China. NVIDIA shed nearly 7% after the AI chip leader said it would take a $5.5 billion charge due to the U.S. government's limit on exports to China, a key market for one of its most popular chips. Rival Advanced Micro Devices, which flagged charges of up to $800 million, fell more than 7%. And shares of Dutch chip-making tools giant ASML also dropped 7% after it warned that Trump's tariffs had led to more uncertainty about its outlook.
The world's largest contract chip maker, TSMC, gave an upbeat outlook for 2025 on strong demand for AI chips. Despite uncertainty over US tariffs, it said it's not seen any change in customer behavior. The Taiwan company expects its AI chip revenue to double in 2025 and has maintained its full-year forecast. The industry titan also posted that its January to March net profit surged 60%, beating expectations. TSMC's optimism comes despite headwinds, like threats from US President Donald Trump to levy tariffs on semiconductors, and US export controls on chips for China, including a decision to curb sales of a key NVIDIA product. But analysts have said that TSMC is in the strongest position among rivals to pass on any tariff-related price increases to customers. Meanwhile, CEO C.C. Wei said around 30% of the company's capacity for its latest chips will be within the US once the plants are completed. There's a sign that US controls on chip exports to China are having their desired effect. TSMC's revenue from China dropped to 7% of total sales from 9% a year earlier, while North America generated 77%, up from 69%.
At just 19, Tilly Lockie has been at the forefront of prosthetic innovation with UK-based robotics company Open Bionics for nearly a decade. Now she's the proud owner of their latest bionic arms, which feature hands that operate even when detached from the body.
So I could just pull it out like that, but I can still operate it when it's not attached.
Lockie, who lost both her hands to meningitis as a toddler, has been helping Open Bionics push the boundaries of what is possible with prosthetics. Her ongoing feedback has helped develop advancements like 360-degree wrist rotation and wireless control.
So as you can see, it's just really, really responsive, super fast, super strong, to the point where I'm not used to being that strong. So as you can imagine, it's pretty crazy, all while keeping it lightweight, lighter than other ones on the market.
After 4 years of development, these prosthetics now offer unprecedented speed and functionality. The company says that new models are twice as fast as existing alternatives and uniquely waterproof. Founded in 2014, Open Bionics uses 3D printing to create robotic limbs, with its flagship product, the Hero Arm, being the world's first medically approved 3D printed multi-grip bionic hand. For Lockie, seeing the positive impact bionic limbs can have inspires her.
With this technology, it's like people want to show it off, for the first time, and I think that's amazing. And like, they're my favorite stories, you know, people wanting to go out in the summertime and wear their little t-shirts and roll those sleeves up, and like little kids getting like Elsa inspired arms, and you know, all their friends at school being excited about it and them being excited about it. That's what it's all about.
The search for alien life just took a giant leap. Scientists may have found the best hint yet thanks to the James Webb Telescope. They found gases in the atmosphere of a distant world that on Earth come only from microbes like marine algae. Dimethyl sulfide and dimethyl disulfide were found in observations of the planet K218b. That means the planet might have tiny life forms, but scientists say it's just a possible sign and more research is needed. Even so, it's the biggest hint yet that we might not be alone. Niku Madhusudan is an astrophysicist from the Institute of Astronomy at the UK's University of Cambridge. He says K218b may show the strongest sign of life beyond our solar system.
We found the strongest evidence to date on a biosignature molecule, in this case a combination, potentially around another star outside the solar system. And that is a major breakthrough in our search for life beyond the solar system. Not only that there is a chance that the planet can actually be habitable, but what we are finding is that we are demonstrating that it is possible to detect biosignatures around in atmospheres of such planets around nearby stars with existing facilities.
K218b is 8.6 times as massive as Earth and more than twice the size. It orbits in the so-called habitable zone around a small, dim red dwarf star 124 light-years away in the Leo constellation. Webb telescope observations from 2021 to 2022 found methane and carbon dioxide in the atmosphere of the alien world. It was the first time carbon-based molecules were found on a so-called exoplanet in a star's habitable zone.
Currently, the only scenario that explains all the observations, in other words, detections of methane and carbon dioxide, non-detection of ammonia and carbon monoxide, and now possible detection of these molecules, means that based on our current understanding, the only scenario that explains all of this is one where it's a Haitian world that is teeming with life. And what is a Haitian world? It's an ocean-covered surface with a thin hydrogen-rich atmosphere. So, and the ocean being habitable.
To analyze a planet's atmosphere, scientists watch as it passes in front of its star. The Webb telescope catches the light passing through the atmosphere, helping scientists identify the gases in it. The goal of exoplanet research is to find life on an Earth-like world. But Madhusudan urged caution for now.
This is a monumental discovery. It is very important, but we also have to be extremely cautious. The reason is that this is one of the biggest questions we have asked as a species in all of science, and we have to deal with it very carefully, in that we want to be really, really robust in establishing whether this is actually life that we are seeing.
The New York Auto Show really got things started for the auto industry back in 1900 at the old Madison Square Garden. We had 69 different vehicle manufacturers represented in that first show, which is more manufacturers than we actually have today. Electrification is still somewhat new, or connectivity, self-driving. Obviously, there's lots of things that are going on, but the show has just about something for everybody, and that's the beauty of the show. If you're into hyper cars or sports cars, performance vehicles, you know, that's there. If you're looking for SUVs, family fun vehicles, I think the auto industry has really gone about taking a look at the customer base that's out there and really has evolved into offering products that everybody's looking for.